decidimos llenar el gimnasio de la escuela de latinos con título y sin título. And guess what? Roberto Clemente ganó. A la edad de 77 años, yo sigo luchando por el triunfo de mi gente. Eso es la educación. Mi mami tiene que sentirse muy orgullosa por lo que yo he hecho. Y yo me siento satisfecha de haber puesto en alto a mi mami, a mi barrio el Cenepo de Cayenne. Por eso, que viva el Cenepo de Cayenne y que viva Rochester.
My grandmother has a rich history. She's the reason I can call myself a Latino man. She's the reason why I take like a big woman.
That was so cool! It was like she was right here telling the story.
Thank you, Taylor. That was incredible. And I hope you consider yourself one of us now.
Thank you.
I love that.
I totally agree with Charlene and Taylor. That was amazing. You definitely need to come back.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
claro, ¿verdad?
Great.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Erica, do you remember that poem that you wrote during the summer? I think it's called Simplemente Soy.
I do.
That was one of my favorites. Would you like to recite that poem now, please?
Of course, anything for you.
Thank you.
This one's called Simplemente Soy. Soy penas y malos pensamientos. Soy piel, piel desnuda bailando sobre el fuego, dejándome chinita. Soy perversidad y angustia. Soy la lengua suelta que rueda por tu cuerpo, desahogando secretos. Soy joven y vieja. Soy ojos, ojos negros cometiendo pecados con miradas dulces. Soy torpe y astuta. Soy manos, manos que destruyen y construyen para mi beneficio. Soy abrazos tiernos y besos venenosos. Soy recuerdos que nacen lágrimas. Soy todo lo que no querían de mí. So, do you guys mind if I share one more? Is that okay? You guys don't mind. Niña, corre que se te escapa el tiempo. Sacude tus rodillas llenas de lodo y despégate del mundo de fantasías. Avanza, niña, que se te va lo joven. Pronto se llevarán tu canto y no jugarás, no brincarás. Ven, mujer, te espera. Levanta tu camisa y amamanta a las muchachas del presente. Cae, mujer. Ya no valen tus respiros. Contigo se irá lo que pudo ser y lo que ya no será. Descansa, mujer. Se te concede tu libertad.
I just love what you guys are doing and just the voice that you're giving to our Latino youth. It's just so empowering.
It is. That was great. Justin, I know that you have been working on something really personal to you. And if you're ready, we want to hear what you have to say. Are you?
I'm ready. I'd love to share.
Okay.
He was as tall as a tree. He was as strong as iron. He was as brave as a lion. He was my hero. Do you like beans? I hate beans. I mean, I really hate beans. One day I'm going to start a committee and we're going to get rid of all the
¿Tú
beans.
estás loco?
No more beans. Papi used to have a garden, and he would grow everything. He would grow tomatoes and pumpkins and cucumbers, and of course, beans. The beans would grow along the side on a fence, and he would wake me up at 9 a.m. during my summer vacation to pick beans.
Bendito.
And like the good great-grandson I tried to be, I got out there and I picked those beans. He would tell me, grab them close to the vine. It's easy to take them off there. My hands would hurt for days after picking beans. After we took them off, we'd sit in the garage and we'd pluck them out of their pods, and we'd have a huge tub of beans at the end of the day. Mommy would take them inside, and then we'd have beans for dinner. My whole summer consisted of beans. Even now and then, I catch my hands hurting, and they remind me of the beans. I guess the real reason I don't like the beans is because they remind me of Papi. He always wore a button-down shirt. He always had on dress pants. He always had on his sombrero. He was my hero. Do you like hats? I love hats. Papi always had on his sombrero, no matter where he went. And he had one for different locations. He had one for church and for gardening and for going to Centro de Oro. I remember one time we were going out together. He told me to run to his room and to get his gardening hat and his church hat. And he took his church hat and he put it on him. And he took the gardening hat and smashed it down onto my head and said, "Look, macho, now you look like me." I always remembered that. I look just like him. You know, it's a lot easier to idolize someone who looks exactly like you. And that's exactly what I did. I made him my hero. I tried so hard to be like him. And now I'm trying even harder to be better than him. When he passed away, I found a brand new sombrero in his room. I still have it. He looked just like me. He was who I wanted to be. He was my role model. He was my hero. I live in a world where you only see people who look like me on TV screaming and yelling at each other in handcuffs or dead. I live in a world where our role models come from people who look nothing like us. They say all the little kids want to grow up to be president one day. Well, it's hard to imagine myself sitting in the Oval Office when every time I click on the TV, someone who looks exactly like me is dead. I live in a world where people have decided to value hood life over a college education. I live in a world where speaking the standard American English is considered conformity. I live in a world where people have gotten upset at the way I've chosen to dress. I'm not sorry for not wearing the newest Jordans. My Clarks are pretty comfortable. I live in a world where people disvalue education. How do we plan on getting anywhere and advancing our culture if we're not educated? You know what the worst thing about all this is I live in a world where people's role models comes from athletes and reality TV stars. I'm sorry that my role models have made profound impacts in the world while you sit back and idolize Kim Kardashian and Stevie J and Nene Leakes and whatever love and hip-hop, Real Housewife or wherever you can think of. I'll be idolizing people like Pablo Neruda, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Frida Kahlo, Rigoberta Menchú, Shirley Jackson, Andrew Young, and people who look like me, who have made impacts in the world, who have provided a seat at the table for me to sit down and rest. It is a long road from slavery to equality, but the journey is only half over. We are only half there. We were brought over on slave ships from our motherland. We were sold, separated, and enslaved. We worked tirelessly in the fields and factories. We fought, marched, and achieved freedom. Through it all, we still remain. Through it all, we survive. Through it all, we push on. Woo!
Right.
But we still have a long way to go, brothers. I brought something today.
What is it?
It's his hat. It's been a year. Pedro Pedraza was my great-grandfather. I didn't have a dad growing up, and he lived right next door, so I really considered him my father. He's also my hero. This is the hat I found when he passed. It's a beautiful hat.
Yeah.
It is.
I brought it today so you all could see it. And to remind you all, just like he did, we have to push on.
Yeah.
Your grandfather was a great man. My grandmother and your grandfather worked a lot together in the First World War. He was a great man.
Thank you.
Yeah, Justin, you've always been such a positive advocate for the Latino community. I'm so proud to call you my friend, and I'm so sure that your great-grandfather would be so proud.
Thank you. Thank you.
Justin, I never had the pleasure of meeting your great-grandfather, but I heard so many stories about him, how he helped shape the Latino community, shape Ibero, an organization that does so much good in the community. And you know what? I know you're already making him proud. You're doing a great work.
Well, we've heard from everyone, including me.
We have.
I haven't heard from you. Maestro, please share some words of wisdom with us.
Yes.
I once heard the knowledge knocks on the door of opportunity. If we receive a reply, it stays. Otherwise, it departs. But have we ever wondered why, despite the fact that we know so much about what it takes to be successful, we just can't seem to make progress in life? There seems to be a disconnect between what we know and what we actually do. There seems to be a gap between knowledge and action. In 2000, I decided to come visit my mother for the summer. Little did I know that the journey I was taking leaving Puerto Rico was going to change my life and that I was never going back. I knew that I needed to adapt to the culture I was now part of. I knew that if I wanted to accomplish anything, I needed to learn English. So I became friends with an African American girl on my street. I had long curly hair and I knew she liked Latinos. It was the perfect match. Actions helped me acquire the knowledge that I needed. I knew that I wanted to continue to learn, and in order to push myself, I decided I wanted to attend a high school that did not have a bilingual program. I remember applying to School of the Arts. In less than 2 years of living in Rochester, I tested out of the ESL program. I remember feeling so proud. So I decided I wanted to go see my guidance counselor. I wanted to attend an Ivy League school. So I wanted to ask her, what are the steps that I need to take now in high school to ensure that I achieve my goals? Her response, guys, was a discouraging one. She told me not to set my standards